The Minneapolis head of homicide has revealed he's never been trained to kneel on the neck of someone who's been handcuffed. Police officers who worked with Derek Chauvin, the man accused of murdering George Floyd, have been giving evidence today.
This really takes the wind out of the defence's sails if they want to try and argue that Derek Chauvin was just following his training as a police officer, one of the force's most respected and long-serving officers, has given very powerful testimony in court in the last few hours, where he talks about Derek Chauvin's use of putting his knee on George Floyd's neck and that use of force. Now, in his testimony, he said that it is classified as deadly force. If your knee is on a person's neck, it can kill them. He also talked about how appropriate that was in the circumstances, and he said once a person is cuffed, their threat level simply goes away. He said that the force used against George Floyd was totally unnecessary, uncalled for. He said, "I saw no reason why the officers felt they were in danger." Here's a little more about what he had to say about the use of putting a knee on a suspect's neck.
Have you ever, in all the years you've been working for the Minneapolis Police Department, been trained to kneel on the neck of someone who is handcuffed behind their back in a prone position?
No, I haven't.
Is that, if that were done, would that be considered force?
Absolutely.
What level of force might that be?
That would be the top tier, the deadly force.
Why?
Because of the fact that if your knee is on a person's neck, that can kill him.
Now, he was also asked about the prone position, which is the position that George Floyd was put in on his front with handcuffs behind his back. He said that with a suspect, you get them out of the prone position as quickly as you can because it restricts their breathing. Now, of course, we saw various video footage this week in court of Derek Chauvin keeping George Floyd in that prone position for more than 9 minutes, according to the prosecution. So very compelling evidence from members of his own force today and yesterday, suggesting that Derek Chauvin wasn't following correct protocol. And of course, we heard from 2 paramedics yesterday as well, one of whom gave evidence to say that he thought George Floyd was already dead when he arrived at the scene, and that when he went to check for a pulse on George Floyd, Derek Chauvin kept his knee on George Floyd's neck. So very compelling evidence indeed. The jury have now been dismissed for the weekend, but the parting thought from this head of homicide for Minneapolis police, that the use of force from one of his own colleagues, who he didn't seek to defend in his testimony, put simply, was inappropriate, unsafe, and not what he'd been trained to do.